who we are is so powerful. It's so broad. It's so abundant. It's so much light that it's too bright to fit into a heavy, dense, physical, smooth and slow body. A spirit can, you know, have an experience and be there immediately, right? But you have to bring it down to fit into this heavy, dense meat suit of a body. Okay. And so as you decide to come to life, it's the whole gestation period while your mom is pregnant and you're growing fingers and you're growing a little bit of skin, and then you get a nose and you're inside your mom's belly, and your frequency of who you really are from the penthouse, you're losing frequencies as you coming down to the physical experience, right? You're coming out of the sky, out of, some people call it heaven, some people call it all that is. You're coming from such a beautiful place down to planet Earth, down to such a heavy, dense frequency. You could not be the God that you really are, the light that you really are in this dense, dense reality. It's like from floating on the clouds to getting in a heavy metal car. You can't, you're too light. You're too powerful. So as you come down, right? So let's say ego. This is lovely definition. Ego is there to help you transition into the physical body, because who you are is too bright, right? And you decide to come down to life. And so now you're on like the first floor. Now, just because you came from the penthouse, you don't judge the person on the first floor who cannot afford to live in a penthouse. And that is where your ego is. Your ego is a character that you transition to as a personality trait right before you start becoming physical. So as you came down, your frequencies was dropping, 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 dropping. And so you picked up ego right at that point when you were about to start becoming flesh and body and skin. So it's a character, it's a personality trait that you picked it up. Now you may say, lovely, how do you know that? How do you know you came from the penthouse and you started coming down, 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 and you picked ego up along the way, right? You pick ego up on like the first floor, almost not the bottom, not the basement. You didn't go down to the basement to get ego. You picked it up on like the first floor. And so Lovely said, ego, the reason why a lot of spiritual people want to kick it out their experience altogether, get rid of the ego, is why you self-absorbed, is why you got all these negative thoughts. Get rid of the ego. You cannot get rid of the ego. You cannot get rid of the ego. It's like getting rid of the body. It is a character that you picked up on the first floor. And how Lovely knows that is because ego is a personality trait that is part of the physical life experience. It's not spiritual, it's not soul, it's part of the physical life experience. And if you listen to the thoughts that ego tell you, it's all based around physical. The ego never talks to you in a spiritual way. It's all physical. The ego never jumps over to the spiritual side of who you really are. You picked it up. It was your last stop. Came all the way from the penthouse and you picked that up as you were entering the physical body. Now, some would say, why do the ego exist at all? Why would we have to pick that up? If we come from such a beautiful high frequency place, why would we have to pick the ego up along the way? Because who you really are is so grand. It could not even have this physical experience. The ego makes everything feel real so that you can have a physical experience. Okay, it's not evil, It's not, you should not be against it. I want you to learn what it is. I want you to learn how to incorporate the ego in your life. It's part of the physical experience. It is the number one personality trait. There is no one on this planet that does not have an ego. Some people even say I have an alter ego, right? That's how much they wrapped up into ego. But it's just part of the physical experience. Now, why do it have to be part of the physical experience? Because without the energy of the ego, you would remember all that you are. You would remember all that you are, and you would not be able to have a physical experience. The ego helps you have the physical experience. Stephanie said ego helps us navigate our existence on earth, and it is necessary. It is very necessary.